Welcome to the Art of Hitting channel. Today we got the full podcast video of Mark Thomas in the dugout, sharing a lot of stories about his journey. And we've had a lot of requests. We released a little promo, a 7-minute promo, and people wanted to hear more from Mark. What we called it Crossing the Plate, the remarkable journey of Mark Thomas. Yes, sir, there's Mark sitting there with my dog on his lap. Yeah. So enjoy Mark's interview.
As soon as Dan turns that damn music down, we'll be gone. Damn, that was loud today. Welcome to the dugout with Ed and Dan and our special guest, Mark Thomas. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark Thomas. First of all, welcome to the dugout, Mark.
Thank you, man.
Welcome to dugout, man.
Yeah, he's a big old boy, ain't he?
He's a big dude.
Yeah. Well, today, man, we got Mark Thomas. It's a pleasure hosting a truly remarkable individual like Mark, born March 12, 1965. That's the year I graduated, dude.
Was it really?
Wait. You graduated from something?
I did, from penitentiary school.
There we go.
No, military school. It was like a penitentiary, but hey, it made me the man I always wanted to be.
Oh.
Mark's journey is as diverse as it is inspiring. Originally hailing from Boston, he began his professional life as a police officer, serving his community with dedication and integrity. However, Mark's story takes an intriguing turn as he transitioned into a woman. No, that's a different. No, that's a different.
Wrong era, man. Wrong era, man.
That's the wrong podcast, dude. But no, he transitioned into the legal profession, which I'm glad that's the case, bringing his unique insight and experiences to the practice of law. But Mark's talents and passion extend beyond the realm of law enforcement and legal advocacy. He is also widely recognized as a formidable softball player, renowned for his skills and sportsmanship on the field. Though through his multifaceted journey, Mark has amassed a wealth of experience and wisdom, undoubtedly made him a captivating guest. We'll make him a captivating guest. See, I feel like Joe Biden a little bit here.
We'll point you the way to the exit.
Yeah. Join us as we dwell into Mark's fascinating life, exploring the intersections of law, athletics, and community service. We're excited to uncover the insights and stories that have shaped this remarkable journey. So again, my friend, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Dugout. So now it's all your show, buddy, and we're going to ask you a few questions.
Tell us about your family, Mark.
So, yeah, just jump right in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Just cut my ass.
Cut your ass off. Come on.
So I grew up in the Boston area in Massachusetts. My father was a military guy, and we had two families. He got out of World War II, and so he had my oldest brother and my oldest sister, both deceased at this time, but they were 18 years older than me, 18 and 16 respectively. So we had like two different families.
Yeah.
My mother had my sister, we call my Irish twin, who's 11 months older than me, that they had her about age 42 years old, which back then they didn't think they were supposed to have children at that time. Then I had me 11 months older after that. So we grew up in the Massachusetts area. As you guys expounded on, I went into the legal profession, first in law enforcement. And while in there, in law enforcement, I was in the detectives, and then ended up prosecuting as a police prosecutor.
Well, let's stay with the family right now before we get in, because we got a whole section on you in police. But in your family, you're not married, right?
I am not.
And you don't have any children?
None.
Okay.
He's a good catch for you ladies out
that?
there.
I mean, you can adopt me if you
there
want.
There you
go. Or Dan, doesn't matter. But what about a memorable, easy for me to say memorable, anecdote or lesson you learned from your family that has stuck with you throughout your life? That's kind of where we're looking at here.
Yeah, I got you. So my father, old school, like I told you, was in World War II. So everything was work hard, earn everything. treat others how you want to be treated. So that's how we were brought up.
What a concept, huh?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a nice concept to be running wild in this world today?
And it was completely different than what you see nowadays in the aspect of, simply put, accountability. My father would tell you something to do, and it wasn't optional. And then you had your pick if you decided to push the limits, which I don't know why I always did with him. And
I
he'd either
can't see
take out
that.
the belt or he'd give you your hand. And he
Yeah.
said, well, which one do you want? Because there was accountability on everything you did.
Yeah.
And I remember I got some fights in school, and he used to call me Maki, and he walked me to the police department, and he says, hey, if you ever see him fight, you have my permission to hit him. And then the school, he told all my teachers the same thing. He said, if you come home with a black eye from a person of authority, and you tell me that about it, I'll give you the matching one, because you did something wrong. So we knew there was accountability, and so even though you're trying to push as much as you can, and I did, that's how we were brought up. And there was always accountability and work hard. So that was probably the biggest things I got from my family. Everything was family first, but it was always accountability.
Probably a good one, though, right?
Yeah,
It's, you've done really well in your life. So let's talk about that before we get into, softball. We like to talk to the softball players. Everybody thinks, dumb softball player. Well, you certainly break that mold from the dumb softball player. You went to college, right, out of high school. Were you an athlete in high school?
I was, interestingly enough, when I was 18 and 17 and 16, I was the same height and weight that I was when I was 27 years old. 5'11", 185 pounds.
Well, you grew a lot.
At 28.
Wow.
You're about 6'2" now.
How big are you?
6'5".
You're 6'5"?
And I didn't grow till 28, and then from 28 to 42, I was 6'4" and a half at that time, 242. I put on weight and height from 2 years,
Wow.
28 to 30.
Wow, that's,
And
That's unusual.
no
Yeah.
sense. I was a travel point guard basketball, and I was a travel shortstop. So when I got up to my size, they said, "What position you play? Catcher?" I said, "I'm a shortstop." I always had a really strong arm
Yeah.
and could throw really hard, a baseball anyways. And I stayed at shortstop and was a travel point guard. And I just still thought I was little, but it was weird. Then all of a sudden, I just got size and strength.
Oh,
that's crazy. So,
Completely.
that's cool.
you what college did you go to?
So I went to
Boston College?
No, it's funny. I had this Boston College. I was in South Beach, and I have a place down in South Beach, and I saw the Boston College thing in one of the places, and I had to pick it up. So no, I went to Springfield, and
Springfield what?
Springfield College in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, okay.
And then when I went to law school, it's called Massachusetts School of Law in Andover, Massachusetts, right near where I'm from. So that was the two schools I went to in the Commonwealth of Mass, as we would say back home.
So you graduated from there, what kind of degree?
So a Bachelor of Science. I went in CJ, Criminal Justice.
Oh, that's
And I wasn't gonna go into law until I got into law enforcement, and I went into the court system to prosecute for the police department. We would make so many arrests, they would pull officers out and say, "You're gonna
Well, wait,
prosecute."
you left college, now you're going into the police department. Right?
So I went to the police department, and I didn't go to law school yet.
Oh,
So
right.
I was on, as we would say, I was on the job in law enforcement, and I got thrust into it and went to the court system to prosecute just for my police department, and I loved it.
Was it just your cases, or was it
No,
everybody's?
just the police department that I was with. We didn't prosecute anybody else, and we call them ADAs, Assistant District Attorneys. So they would do everybody else's. So the volume that they had, they said, "Would you like to have?" We call them police prosecutors.
Yeah.
So you put in a suit on and you prosecute your cases for the police department.
What do you mean by y'all cases? Like general?
So like right now we're in Melbourne, right? Florida. Melbourne Police Department would have one police officer, and I assume you have one district court, and then you have superior courts as well. But I was in district court, and you would prosecute for that one Melbourne Police Department as an analogy.
Even if you don't have a law degree. You don't have
Correct.
a law degree. Really?
Now, if you went to trial, the assistant district attorneys. Now, the district attorney themselves are elected positions. I assume same thing down here, but all the rest are called ADAs, assistant district attorneys. So they would do that, and I had full authority to do it. And I remember my chief justice called me back Said, hey, we took a break. He said, I want to see you in my chambers. And I was closing my eyes and, oh, this can't be good. And he sat down. He was a Notre Dame grad. He was, and again, a Chief Justice. And I said, Chief, whatever it was, I didn't do it. And he said, just sit down. And he was being serious. He goes, listen, you have a pension to do this. Have you thought about going to law school? I said, no, I never did. He goes, you're good at this.
Wow.
You really should go. He goes, you want me to write something for you to go to school, whatever you want? I'll help you. And that's when it started it. And then I was still in the job, prosecuting, and I went to law school at nights, 4 years to law school and did them both.
Wow.
And then passed the bar, and as the rest of the state's history, when I got off the job, just almost 30 years, and I went into the law.
When he presented that to you, how did you feel about it at the time? Did you
stayed on it? I love it when you guys say on the job. You know, I wonder where that came from. Just police history?
Yeah, it's cop talk. Yeah,
cop talk. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
we've all have a different way that we.
So you stayed on there 30 years, and then so that puts you how old when you come out?
52. I got out, and I was practicing a little bit, but just can't do anything just like wills and trusts. And then when I got out, because you're not supposed to have side gigs per the policy procedures. Then when I got out, I did a little criminal for friends.
So you were going to school while you're on the job.
Yeah.
And so you were greasing it for when you got out.
Exactly what I was doing.
Okay, pretty damn smart. You smart guy.
And I found I loved it.
Yeah.
And it worked out fantastic for me, and liked being an attorney, and put up the shingle and started doing various things in law. And it's my sister went the other route. Her and her husband, he's a chief medical officer, and she went the chiropractor route. So they went to medical school in Plano, Texas, and then Chicago, and then came back to New England, Virginia Beach. He kept bouncing around. They were doing their thing. So she went the medical route, I went the legal route.
Well, I don't know a lot of people know this, but in searching your background and talking to people, you know, I'm a little curious. I know you're well-heeled, so to speak, you know. I said, how did that boy get well-heeled? A lawyer? It makes a lot of sense. But then somebody said, he owns some medical dispensaries. I gotta believe that was your key to the kingdom. Am I right or wrong?
So
tell me about that. Tell the audience about that.
So
that's fascinating.
While I was prosecuting, I had in the Commonwealth of Mass, we put a bill up and marijuana passed. It was just medicinal to start off with. So I had a lot of business people come to me because of my background. So while I was on the job, and I was prosecuting at the time, they took me out of prosecution and they put me to the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia.
Wow, you got history there.
Yeah, so I went to there, and right next to, a lot of people don't know, the Marine Corps barracks is right there.
Yeah.
And then us, the FBI Academy, and then right next to that, the DEA. So I got a chance to know a lot of good DEA guys. And we did a lot of work with a lot of feds, and I just knew a lot about the drugs. So people would ask me, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Because what people were conflicted about, and business guys wanted to get into marijuana, but they kept vacillating whether they wanted to do it, because even though it passed in Colorado or California or the Commonwealth of Mass, it's still a Schedule I drug under federal law. It's a crime. Schedule I, which means it's the highest level, same as heroin, and
which is totally ludicrous nowadays.
Completely.
Yeah.
And marijuana has different great benefits for you, but still to this day, it's a Schedule I drug. So it's in conflict with federal law. So when we got into marijuana, they asked me about it, and a businessman said, hey, would you like to get involved? We want you to let it out. So I did. And one of the first problems we had, which never even thought of this, you open up any business, you would never think about this. Where do you put your money if you open a business? You both would talk a bank.
Bank, you can't put it in
federal law. You can't put drug money in under federal bank.
Oh my God.
That's what we said. We said, so what did we do? And it took so much time and money to try to research what can you do. We finally got around it by one bank that could do it, but you couldn't put your money in bank.
Wow.
And it was all cash, as we would say, Johnny Cash or Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Depending on if you're south of the border or north of the border.
Yeah.
And
What year was that?
so we started getting into marijuana. So we started at 16, the business guys and I started talking, and they said, well, listen, we're going to get some marijuana. And the funny part is, even though I knew drugs, I've never drank alcohol in my life, never did drugs.
Uh-huh.
Now, I tried it, and I just hated it. I was a sports guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't smoke cigarettes because I was an asthmatic. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do anything, so I didn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
So I had no vices. So I just never did that. And they say, hey, what about marijuana? And I couldn't tell you any of the effects of anything, sativa, indica. I couldn't tell you none of that.
Yeah.
But I knew law.
Yeah.
I knew the law about drugs, and I knew about business. So it was definitely different, to be honest. And it was a learning curve that we got into it. And then the Commonwealth of Mass passed recreational, or legal, if you will.
Yeah.
So it blew up big. So now it's kind of tapered off. COVID, I thought would help. It actually hurt.
Really?
Hurt marijuana, the Commonwealth of Mass.
Why is
COVID did.
it? Wow.
I don't know if it was money related. I actually thought the COVID would help. People would want to search more medicinal purpose. It was again, I'm thinking it was a money purpose. I don't know, but a lot of marijuana companies had a hard time.
Do you know the science behind THC and the value to killing cancer? Have you heard any of that?
I do know a lot of science with marijuana, but not relative to what you're talking about with cancer.
Yeah.
But I assume
Obviously
you
it's-
do now.
Yeah,
Because
I know a lot about it, and I think it's almost criminal that kept it away from us.
If you don't mind me asking, are you on any form of THC?
Oh yeah.
And can
Well,
you tell me the benefits?
I'm not. Well, I can't tell you that right now because I haven't been on it much. But my wife had breast cancer. You know, my sons are all in that business. Two of them, the two oldest.
I
are in
didn't
that
know
business,
that.
yeah. And they did their time for it when they were younger. But now, you know, they know how. You know, they're experts in it somewhat. When my wife got breast cancer, my one son said, "Hey, you need to do Rick Simpson oil." If you look up Rick Simpson on the internet, on Google or whatever, he saved himself. They wrote him off. He saved himself with THC. Now, Rick Simpson oil, you got to take a lot of it. I won't go into all that, but we stayed with the protocol of when you have breast cancer, you go in and cut it out. She did the chemo, but what THC also does is help your immune system. So after she had the operation, we started taking it, and she didn't want to take it because she was, look, I'm a guy, never took a drug in my life, never drank, never smoked. Okay?
Same as me.
And marijuana, you know, why? But then I started to wake up to, hey, this is life or death. And you're telling me that you can be saved by this? Yeah, I'm gonna freaking try it, dude, because look, the medicine I'm taking now, that for the immunotherapy,
Yeah.
they give me a 5-minute tutorial every time I get off the phone with somebody I'm talking to, you know, about the medicine. And if I listen to that, there's like 10 things that they identify that stuff is going to do to me, even if it kills my cancer. You know, it may do to me, it may not. It's you know a negative, but take the negative of THC. You can't find one. I defy you to go on the internet, and there's things out there telling you you hallucinate, which is the worst part of it.
Yeah.
You know, but it will help you, and you know, I'm not here to push THC, but you get in my situations that, you know, 30% chance of living, you're gonna try shit.
Yeah.
I got 3 or 4. Well, this is not my. We'll talk about it sometime off the clock. I want to listen to what you got to say. And that's the bad part of me telling stories. I'm on each
No,
side.
it's fascinating to me
Yeah.
because, listen, I was dead against marijuana. I prosecuted it for it.
Yeah.
Back then, we were taught and we believed it was a gateway drug.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, the gateway drug. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's what we thought.
Mhm.
And because that's what you know, that's all we knew. And then I just had, I just have a different perspective now. I've been educated, which I thought I was educated before, but I wasn't.
That's the same way with everybody. I mean, you only know what you know.
That's right.
And if it's crazy.
It's key to be open-minded, isn't it, in life? In
Completely.
general, you have to
Completely.
listen,
Well, the career change motivated transition career in law enforcement, pursue a path in the legal, but we've discussed that pretty much. Was there any difficulties in your transition?
There was and there wasn't. I found out real quickly. People were contacting me. It's weird in our business. We don't like saying expert, but I was just well versed.
You became well versed.
Yeah, well versed in criminal, and people would ask me, "Hey, can you help me?"
Yeah.
And I started helping friends. We call it the dark side. If you go from the prosecution to the other side, and it just, I found it was, I would help only friends, and I said I can't do this. So I went more into business law and started doing that with the marijuana. So I'm glad that I transitioned to that. And I've had so many of my friends over the years say, "Hey, listen, I know you don't drink alcohol, but if I get stopped, will you give us the keys to the castle? You prosecuted, tell us." I said, "Yeah, I'll give you all the advice right now." And everybody was like, "Well, that's fantastic." I go, "But it ain't gonna work." They go, "What are you talking about?" "Because you're gonna be drunk and impaired, and everything I tell you that you shouldn't do, you're gonna do, because you're drunk and you're impaired." And then lights go off, oscillating lights, and people get alone. People always act really tough or whatever they say, but then when they get alone with officers and they're drunk, they just talk and they do stupid stuff, and you're impaired. And everything I'm gonna tell you that you shouldn't do, you're gonna do. And you're going to make it hard for the defense attorney, because you're going to say, "I said nothing," and then you're going to see the police report.
So tell us what you told them, just in case there's some crazy people out in our audience.
So
don't leave us hanging.
So I would tell my friends, if I was going to defend you, the less that the police department has or the attorney has,
Keep your mouth shut.
The better it is. Don't talk. So now in the Commonwealth of Mass, we know the law. So I would come up and let's say I stopped you at, "Can I just have your license?" And you show it to me, and you like put the window down this far, and then you just show me out-of-state license. Or when you don't show it, or you're just like, "I'm out of state," and you won't show it to me. On the Commonwealth of Mass, under Chapter 90 laws, if you have an out-of-state license and you don't present it, you're unlicensed. Even if I do, we call a mobile data terminal, I check my computer and it shows Florida, your license is that, but if you don't have it in your hand and give it to me, or you tell me go after myself and give it to you, you're bad law, I can arrest you. And I'll say, "Hey, will you step out of the car?" Now, if I'm asking you, I already know I can take you out. But I know my rights. I love when people tell me that they know what they, "Oh, no. My friends told me this, or I see this on Facebook. I can't do that." People love telling you the law. Like, I do this for a living. So when I tell you to get out, or can I search the car, I need, any officer needs probable cause to search your car. I already had the PC. If there was some drug paraphernalia or something in there that I saw, I knew I could take it. I go, "Hey, can I search your vehicle?" And some people would know the Fourth Amendment. Some wouldn't. Just, "No, I know my rights. You don't have no right to come in. No, you don't go there." "All right, beautiful. Step out of the car." And some people didn't want to get out. I said, "Well, you're going to be locked up, because now I can get in your car." Now we have something that's called fruits of the poisonous tree. If I wasn't supposed to go in your vehicle and I find evidence, the defense attorney can get that kicked. Any fruits caused by that illegal search is going to be kicked out. But you can't stop me. I'm going to do it. The officer's going to do it. But back, as I segue now into the drug thing, they're going to ask you to take a field sobriety test. You don't have to take it by law. Now, if you take it and you fumble it badly, that's all evidence against you.
That's right, yeah.
So why take it? Now, I would tell them, and I know Massachusetts law, if you refuse a breathalyzer, now that's just a portable breathalyzer and all the field tests. If you refuse that, then I'm going to bring you back down the station. And if they bring you back down the station, they're going to tell you to take a breathalyzer. And the law is, if you say no, it's your right. But from that day on, it's automatic minimum 6-month loss of license. Just saying no. Now, if you
by saying no,
you forfeit your license. Cut it up in front of you. You have no right, because it's not a right to drive the Commonwealth of Mass, it's a privilege. Cut it up, right?
So if you say no, man, you're going to get screwed anyhow.
Lost your license. Now I tell them the law. If you take it right now and you blow a 3-0 and you're ossified drunk, and the Commonwealth is 0.08, I assume it's the same in Florida, so 0.08. If you're triple or quadruple, 3-2, you lose it for 1 month. First offense. Like 1 month? Yes. So people, and I read them the law, and this is what it is. Here's your rights. What do you want to do? I want to call my attorneys. Nope, you're an adult. You have to make a decision on right now. You can't make a phone call. By law, you at 1 hour after booking, you have a right to make a phone call. Not just during booking. What do you want to do? Now you're drunk and you're impaired and you're scared, and I'm reading you the law, and people are like, all right, I'll take it. And then they take it, and all the things I say not to do. Now they're going to tell you when they put you in the back of a cruiser, as we would call it a cruiser, some would say cop car, but put you back in the cruiser, there was no smell of alcohol. Now they ain't got in the back of my cruiser, and the whole back of my cruiser is emanating the smell of alcohol from you. I know it came from you, you smell of alcohol. But I can get around that as a defense attorney. You know, you just can't probe a bar. Also, people were spilling alcohol there all over the place, right? Waitress. I can get around that. Glassy-eyed, slurred speech. I have all kinds of things to get around that. What I can't is going to be hard to get around if you take the breathalyzer and you fail it. I can check to see if it was calibrated through the state. There's other things to get around it. But the facts, if you're going to kill me because you gave all them this evidence against us, then now I got to go after the officer. There's only 2 ways that can be the case. The facts, the case, or the officer. If they made mistakes and they got a bad history, and I pull we call it a jacket. I pull your jacket.
Bad cop.
I get to check all your stuff that you've done, and I can go after you that way, make you look bad. All I need is doubt.
Yeah.
The standard is reasonable doubt.
But
If
the
I need doubt-
judges, you don't have your jury, right? Usually.
So we always pick a jury.
Oh, okay.
Because the judge is just going to use the law. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want jurors. That
So you get to pick.
They're
Yeah, okay.
empathetic. They may have a couple glasses of wine, and they may say, "Hey, whoa, I have some doubt here."
Yeah.
Where a judge may not have the doubt.
Right.
Oh, if I was defending, I always ask for a jury trial.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to fight it, take the breathalyzer. Like if you say, "No, I don't have the money to fight it," because you're going to pay, depending on what OUI 1, OUI 2, 3. Now you're in felony counts and that. So if you're not going to fight it, just take it then.
Yeah.
Just take the breathalyzer, lose the 1 month, go to the drug school.
But listen, man, we could probably stay on this a long time. Dan and I are drug heads, so we're listening closely. But I don't think I think our audience wants to hear a little bit about softball.
Okay.
Let's see how did you transit? Now, when did you get into softball?
Yeah.
The 80s, I was playing baseball, driving around as a shortstop, and my friend said, we're going to play softball. And I declined. Because I said, oh,
That's girls' game. Girls' game.
I said, I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
And so they said no, and it was slow pitch. And I said,
Oh,
unequivocally no.
absolutely not.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
So I said, that's that. And they, well, girls play fast pitch. This is men's. I said, no, I'm doing it. So then I played fast pitch, and I remember they flew a guy in to pitch against us. And he was getting paid good money at the time. You know, $1,000 a weekend to come pitch. I was like, come on. And I got my baseball stance, and he was throwing rise balls, you know, at a shorter distance. It wasn't 60 feet, 6 inches.
Yeah.
So by the time he got up to me, it was 100, 102, 103, but it was rising. The 17th inning was 1-1.
Yeah.
And the first baseman, third baseman come up, and everybody was bunting. I was at shortstop, had 2 balls hit to me, 17 innings.
Yeah.
I hated it. I
Yeah.
said, I'm not playing fast pitch ever again.
Yeah.
I started at a high level, and I said, no, got a bad taste. The next year, my friends just said, hey, we're playing. And they talked me into it,
Yeah.
and I never stopped. We
So-
were a C team, and we started playing, and I was little.
That was age.
I was in my 20s. I was probably 25, 26.
25.
Still what I'll call normal size. I was 5'11", 185.
Yeah.
And then as we started getting better, and the difference was I was a leadoff hitter. I could shoot the ball to right. I learned to hit the ball wherever I wanted to. That's all I practiced.
Yeah.
Then at 28, being 6'4" and a half, 242, I could hit that any place I played.
Never had anybody tell you, man, were you on steroids, dude?
Now, my doctor in Boston at the Leahy Clinic and then one at Mass General said, if I could figure out what happened, I think it's a pituitary gland.
Pituitary.
That's what I think.
Late responded.
I would bottle it, sell this. You just
Yeah.
went up 5 inches and 40, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I would always lift, I couldn't put muscle on. And then the next thing I know, I was strong. I was strong and tall.
Yeah.
And the ball is a big difference. Like I was hitting them out of 285 Drina parks sometimes. Then we went to baseball stadiums, and I was hitting softballs out of baseball stadiums. And I remember Ted Williams telling Tony Gwynn, you gotta start swinging for power. You keep just slapping the ball around, everybody's gonna cheat out, you're gonna take the ball away from you. Once you make people stand in front of the warning track, your batting average go through the roof like they did with Ted. And that's exactly what happened. Everybody was playing the warning track, and all of a sudden, it was just the very odd to have that growth and all of a sudden become a single hitter.
And the scenario in which you were playing softball already and working on the backside stuff, and then became a power hitter, that was probably an advantage because of your size. You could hit it out all the time. When the home runs are gone, if you play in those tournaments, you still have that in your game, don't you?
It was very just unique because the guys, when we went to the A's one day, New England's, and I got picked up and played with Jeff Wallace and Brett Helmer. Brett was in Connecticut.
Oh, Brett was playing. Oh, yeah.
He was in Connecticut, so we used to drive to Connecticut to play Brett, his team, and Hummer and Rusty and a bunch of all the guys that were really good in Connecticut. This kid Junior.
Rusty Bumgarner?
No, Rusty was in North Carolina.
Rusty.
So this Rusty, his last name just escaping me right now. But Brett played with him and his dad, his team. They were really good. We'd take the drive to Connecticut to play at Brett's team, and we picked up Jeff Wallace from New York, and we started playing with those guys, and they just taught so much how to play.
Yeah.
But I just worked on my power game with them. I always had the shortstop thing down.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. And then they got me to go down as we went up high level to go to Canada a lot, and we went to the PIF.
What's the PIF?
The PIF Day Party. It's on July 4th weekend in Sherbrooke, Canada. It's in
So Dan knows a lot about that.
Dan would probably call it Quebec. We would call it Quebec. He'd probably call it Quebec.
Yeah.
And we would go, and it was the most incredible time going to play at the PIF. They treated us like rock stars. We didn't pay, again, I didn't drink them, but we didn't pay for beer, alcohol. You didn't pay for anything. They would make you sign your gloves. They would beg for all your clothes. And I played with Beloli and this kid Randy. We always had real good teams, and Hightower, Roberson, and we always had guys. You could have 3 super major guys come down and play, and we always had a really good team. Ray DeMarini was sponsoring it with my first year up there. Friday night in the lights, we had 35,000 people watching us, and it was just the most incredible thing ever.
So who's the best softball player you ever played with?
That's a good question. I've seen the list of your guys. Man.
Yeah, so great question.
In your opinion.
Growing up, when I was playing, Helmer he could fly. Most people didn't realize
Brett
that.
Helmer could
Fly.
Really?
He played the outfield, and he threw like a catcher. He'd snap throw. He had a really strong arm, but he could go backside at will.
He wasn't that big
fly.
yet.
He was big. He was still doing in the bodybuilding competitions, and one time they would come up and do hair follicles so to make sure they wasn't on the stuff. And as far as I know, he never ever was. Just strong as can be. And he held the ball bat, with just the knuckles off and hold it with 2 fingers.
Overlap grip.
And we brought him out to Canada to play with all the 2-steppers, most of the Canadians. Mostly, you play 11 Canadians and 9 of them get lefties.
He doesn't 2-step, does he?
He does not, but all the Canadians
did.
Yeah. Jacques Millet, I don't know if you remember old school Jacques Millet, a bunch of them up there. But no, Brett never did. But Brett, he was incredible. But up there, like Hightower played with us. Roberson was just an incredible outfielder and can hit for power.
I know Roberson played with him, played against him.
Great arm.
He's right from West Palm Beach.
He's
one of the greatest outfielders I've ever seen.
As did I.
Him and Cecil Whitehead are very similar guys.
I never played with Cecil, but Beloli told me about him, about how good he was.
He's great.
But then as I got older, we started playing senior ball. Like Andy Purcell pitched. Rules was just an incredible athlete.
Who?
Dennis Ruley. Rules would go over the bag, and Johnny Bailey would catch. Jeff Hall was playing at third, not at first for us. And for hitters, as much as I love Brett, I don't know if anybody squares the ball up and hits it consistently as far as Jeff Hall.
Really?
He might be the best I've ever seen.
Halsey, they call him.
It's incredible how far and how long, even to this day, he don't miss. It's not even fair how good that kid hits the ball.
Well, do you know Cornell? Do you know Cornell?
Do I know who?
You know Cornell.
I know Mike.
Right.
Yeah, Mike real good.
Is it Mike Cornell?
Yeah. It is Corny. Yeah.
Well, who's the guy I did at Vieira? Wasn't it Greg
Cundill.
You're talking about Craig Cundill, the second baseman who's just like a murderer.
Yeah, he's like considered one of the, I interviewed him in Vieira, and he got 1,000 views in about 2 days.
He's incredible. And not a huge guy.
No, he's not at all.
Kills a softball.
Yeah, he's got really fast hands.
It's funny, we're going this weekend. I'm flying up to North Carolina, Charlotte, for Jeff's doing a bat demo, and everybody's sending their bats in. Johnny Dykes is coming in. Jason Magnum is coming, but now I think he may have a conflict. Bradley Jones might be coming up. And I didn't realize this. You said Coney, I thought you were talking about Mike Cornell from DeMarini.
No,
Coney said, you got to see this kid.
this
Bradley
guy's
Jones.
an Eastern guy.
Oh, yeah, he said he's a joke how good he is. And
Yeah, they say he's breaking all the records of Brett Helmer.
Jeff said that he hit him in the baseball stadium in Gastonia, and Bradley was hitting him off the scoreboard. He goes, Mike, he's hitting him and almost breaking the scoreboard. He goes, it's 500.
Wow.
The other guy that is a big tall guy. What's his name? Peter.
Kyle Pearson.
Kyle Pearson.
KB,
Yeah.
Wow, what a stud that guy
and a
is.
great first baseman.
Yeah.
There's just so many great guys, but Bradley plays center field.
Now you don't know Bruce Meade, or you never played against him.
Never played with
How old
him.
do you know?
I turned 59 March 12th.
Wow.
That's 60
You look
years
good
old.
for your age, dude.
Thank you,
Really
appreciate
good.
it.
60. Bruce is like 15 years older than you are. Well, no, he's not. He's about 14. Yeah. You ever heard of a guy named easy for me to, I can't remember his name. Mike Nye. You heard of that name?
I don't know Mike Nye.
Yeah, Mike Nye was in the league of Robeson and Cecil Whitehead. I mean,
Really?
he was a stud. You know.
Who did he play with? Did he start out like most guys started with Steele, and then they
well, he started with Warren Motors.
Okay.
Warren Motors in I think it was 1970. They won their first world championship.
The aluminum bats.
I don't even think they had aluminum bats in it back then. Aluminum bat. Well, when did aluminum bats came in? Oh, I know a name. Chuck Peake. Does that remind anybody know that name?
I do not.
You should, because he's a Canadian guy. He was a guy from Lauderdale. Was freak. He's the guy. The first guy I ever seen use his team. It was called Logia Lounge, and Chuck Peake was on that team, and they brought in the aluminum bats, and it was in the 4th of July tournament up in Cocoa. That was the biggest tournament in the country at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the 4th of July tournament would have 60 teams or something like that. And they came in there with these aluminum bats, and they made them, before the tournament was over, they made them put them away.
Interesting.
They said they were illegal. That's it. That's how much it changed, dude.
Can you believe the difference in back technology?
Oh, geez, now it ain't even close.
From composite,
Yeah.
aluminum. I remember the first year we had Ray DeMarini's double wall. When that double wall came out,
Oh, that was-
people thought it was unfair.
Yeah, well, I was back in 1997. We were sponsored by DeMarini. We had the best team in the country out of Texas,
Yeah.
and that DeMarini was awesome. Go back a little bit. We were in a tournament in North Carolina in a 40 and over, and the team, DeMarini's team, was it his team? No, it was a team from Washington that he always supported. And they are all passing that bat down. The one DeMarini they had.
Isn't that crazy?
They were passing it down, dude. And yeah, it was crazy. DeMarini was the bat.
Yeah, you had Larry Carter was
Larry
right there
Carter.
when he started.
Well, he's still going to bat. He's still.
Yeah, Larry's still on.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, still playing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they probably wouldn't have his name on a bat if he wasn't alive.
So you're very well connected, obviously. Like you're just rounding off these guys, and this is that's the upper echelon of today's players for sure. How did you're into team building too?
So
How did that start?
It literally started. I started playing senior ball just because my parents are down here, and a team in New England was playing on Tampa, and they said, "Hey, the snowstorm, half our guys couldn't get out there. Will you come and help them play?"
Oh wow.
I drove over the West Coast, knew some of the guys. One kid was from Newport, Georgie, and he said, "Here's a senior bat. The first bat I've ever held in my hand was a black and gold Dudley, the OG 2015 model. The first time I ever held one."
Wow.
And I did my normal thing with nobody on him with the right field and turned my wrist over and ended up hitting over the trees in right field like hell. I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm 50 years old. I'm not supposed to be hitting the ball that far with
Yeah.
this bat. They said, yeah, these bats are really, really good.
Yeah.
And that was my first introduction to senior softball, and it caught. And it went from then to, I'm going to sponsor a team, and hooked up with Halsey and with it then from everybody, you know,
Yeah.
from Ruley and JB and Andy Purcell when he went over to Louisville, and Mike Cornell coached us one year at the Smokies, and then just being with so many great guys and playing against guys that were fantastic.
Yeah.
So many Floridians that we were playing against. This Brad Stillwell and Down
Brad
Bag.
Stillwell,
There's
yeah.
so many.
That's a great little
players.
shortstop
Oh
there,
my
buddy.
gosh,
I
incredible.
can't-
That's still what it's all
It's
about.
amazing how hard he throws a ball.
I know.
Yeah.
Still.
I know.
I see him play deep in left field and catch one on his knees and get up and throw it.
Game changer.
Oh, he's one of the
It's
greatest.
incredible. It's not even fair,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, it is so many guys. So I started, when somebody said play senior, I said no. I had the same reaction to girls softball my first time playing. I said I'm not playing senior.
There's a lot of you guys do that.
Yeah.
And I only did it to help them out.
Yeah.
And I saw the talent. And Alan Tanner had a team there. And I started playing against Albert was playing, and Hank and Wendell was on that team.
And Garris.
And they were just killing balls. And Junior was catching, just turned out to be a sweetheart of a guy. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I couldn't believe how good guys were at that age.
Yeah.
And I got hooked. I was shocked how guys were still.
So when did you transition to sponsoring? You did that for a couple of years.
So I played with the guys in New England for 4 or 5 years, and I was still playing with the young kids. And they were catching or playing third base, and I was still traveling around with them. And so 2 or 3 years into it, I said, you know what, I think I can do better. I'm gonna the good thing, the bad thing about senior softball, depending on what level you want to play, some of the teams you want to play with, they want to win, but they want to play with their friends. So we're together, we drink all the time, our wives are together. So we're like, hey, we got a really good guy. Like, Ed wants to play, Dan wants to play. Like, yeah, he's good, but we'll have to sit.
They don't fit in. Yeah.
We'll have to sit our guys.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, well, are we playing to win or are we playing buddy ball?
That's right.
And they go, well, we want to win with our buddies.
Yeah.
And so so the good, bad, it's great, gets everybody out together, you get to travel, a lot, but I just said, I want to win. I had that mentality.
Yeah.
That's why it brought me to Ruley. If we're playing, let's win.
Yeah.
And I would always tell guys, so I didn't know it. I thought I had an injury in my life, never had a surgery.
Really?
And I remember playing one time, and tears are coming out of my eyes. And I said to, I won't say his name, I said, can you take my shoes off? And he started laughing. I said, no, I'm being serious, I can't bend over. He goes, oh, you hurt your back? I said, no, I can't touch my toes. And he took my shoes off, and I ended up going to the hospital. He says, yeah, you need knee replacement. I said,
What?
Doctor, stop. I've never had a problem in my life. And you just took an x-ray. You can't tell a tear, ACL or otherwise, from an x-ray, because you're right, you can't. So the boss in me got mad. I go like, where'd you go to medical school? He goes, what? And he goes, Yale. I said, oh, that's a good school. He goes, I go, but I don't care. I want an MRI. And he says, sir, you're bone on bone. You don't have any, I can see it in the x-ray, you're bone. But because I don't want to fight with you, I'll do an MRI. They did an MRI. He goes, yeah. So I said, like most guys, I'm not having surgery. Waited 2 more years, the other leg caught up. And
2 bone on bones?
Yeah.
so I didn't realize this.
And how old were you at that point?
When I had my first surgery, unfortunately for me, it was a bad surgery. Went down to Duke, North Carolina, and had both knees done the same day, knee replacement. My sister talked me into it, her and her husband.
Not good move there.
And it turned out to be a horrible move. Boston wouldn't do it. They said you were too young. I was 50, 51, I think, 52. And I went to Duke, and they did them both. And the only thing we can gather is when you tie up and you tourniquet so you don't bleed out, the cement they put in. Have you been knee replacement?
No, they want me. I bone on my left leg. I've been running like that for 5 years now.
Well, people don't realize how incredibly painful that is. Because it's nerves running on your knees. Once you shave everything off, and the elbow too. So they drill the bone, your thigh, and they put cement in it, and they take a rod and it holds it in.
Yeah.
So the right took. 2 months later, I was playing ball again. The left didn't take. So every time I walked and moved, cement kept kicking out. And it kept jamming me in nerves. And I kept, what, you got Tourette's? And like, I was just walking, I fall down. And I told my doctor, he goes, no, you just, different guy from the Yale. And this time it was the Boston Celtics team doctor, and I'm yelling at him. I'm like, listen, something's wrong. No, you don't understand. You've never had this. I'm getting mad at him.
Yeah.
And he finally, the physician assistant or PA came in and says, we're going to go get an MRI. We're going to do this. Insurance going to fight us, but we'll put into it. They go, we don't see anything wrong. I said, I'm telling you something. So they, 3 months after the surgery, they went and cut me open. I woke up and he looked at me. He goes, how are you effing walking?
Huh.
His words. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I took 100, in a picture, there's 107 pieces of cement out.
Wow.
The left, because every time you walk, you were kicking.
I don't know what for bone on bone they were putting cement in there. Now they put a whole new knee in it.
So they put the whole no knee in. So, but part of the knee, the
Broke off.
prosthesis goes. There's a rod that goes up into your thigh, and they gotta hold it so it goes into the bone.
Yeah.
They drill into your thigh bone,
Yeah.
and either the bone holds it or they put cement also.
Yeah.
This doctor put cement inside the thigh bone so the rod didn't move.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that cement all the way down, it just didn't take. So I literally just had another surgery 3.5 months ago. My 6th corrective
Man.
on the left.
Oh, Lord.
The right
Wow.
foot. But unfortunately, they call them knee revisions back in the doctor. So I've had
But you're still swinging away. I seen you in that home run challenge
Yeah,
the other day, hitting them. I think you might have hit the most. Wasn't that right? You did.
Yeah, he's the leader, man.
grace of God.
Yeah, you left. You Dan. You weren't. You were on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we put you up against Dan one of these days.
Yeah. I want to hit from second base if I'm hitting against Mark.
And it's interesting. Guys back home would tell me about open stance and closed stance because that's not how I used to stand. And my hands are really high.
Yeah.
My hands used to be low. And guys ask me, "What? You're killing it." I go, "Yeah." They go, "Can you tell us what works for us?" I go, "I'm only doing that because it works for me." They go, "Well, can you tell me why you hold your hands so high, and why when you stand open you sway your leg around like a karate chop?"
You have a big leg kick.
And I said the reason is I can't drive with my legs anymore, so I don't feel comfortable in it because of all my surgeries. My knee doesn't.
You can't rotate like me.
I can't rotate.
My whole swing was predicated on my legs.
Mine too.
And
your hips.
I really can't. Yeah.
Helmet got me that. I was in the gym doing works for my legs to push off and heavy triceps, and I used to explode, and I can't. So now I got to get my leg going through everything all at once. I just depend on my hands. So if I start high, it helps my hands come through with more of a width. And starting low, I would just throw my hands. So it's because I'm forced to do it now.
Yeah.
I need to. That's the only
Well,
thing that gets me through the zone.
That's not. I look at it a little bit differently.
Go ahead.
I look at it as an adaptation based on where you are in your life
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you know my principle of hitting. I call it the art of hitting.
Okay.
The art of hitting. That's why we call it our hitting channel and
Yeah.
our YouTube channel. But that says that there's all kinds of standard things you got to do to be a hitter. What a person needs to do is look at these things, and they develop their own style, and based on where you're at in your life, your physical development, your age. Sometimes you got to adapt and change those things. And it really doesn't matter. You can stand on one you can stand on one leg.
I'm glad that wasn't me. That's one.
Well, you can cuss, we're on YouTube. When my wife watches this, she's, there you go again with that damn bad mouth. But you can do it any way you want as long as you can hit it where you can get back 750 or 800.
Yeah.
You've done your job. Now you get it up in my group. I'm playing with the 80s now. And all you got to do is just, you got to hit. If you hit it hard and you ain't hitting right at somebody in the 80s, there's a 90% chance they ain't hitting it.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. It's amazing that guys are still killing it like you, like Carlos Wade got us in this home run derby. And there's a kid, again, it's a positive term, we call him a kid, but he's playing 70s now, Richie.
Oh, yeah, he no kid.
Richie Meltz?
Richie, Richie and I is
What's his
tired.
last name? Meltz?
Richie
Yeah.
Meltz.
Yeah.
Richie Meltz is the guy I recruited to place me on my world champion Hollis team.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. Hey, Richie and I go back. We go back 7-8 years. But Hollis was the dominating '60s team, okay, and '50s. We dominated in '50s. Well, no, it was more '60s because maybe late '55s. But I've been on the best team. Well, I got to throw this in here. I've been on the best senior team in Florida for 40 years.
That's
The
amazing.
reason I know that is because I'm the only guy. My other guys that played with me. Now, look, my whole key secret to success, and I'll lead to make a lead into you on this, but my whole secret to success is playing with the right guys, getting on the right team. Like you just said, you wanted to win. Well, I let my buddies around here, you know, a lot of the local guys around here really don't like me. Dan can, well, they like me now, but back then, they would, you know, come to the tournament. And for example, one time they had what do you call that thing to hang? They had a dummy out on a string, and they burnt me in effigy.
Oh goodness!
Yeah, they had rose on there. But the reason being is because I always wanted to play with the guys that won. So, you know, and then the other thing that I did, and I've sponsored teams myself, but got to the point where you didn't have a good sponsor, and you didn't have a good leadership on that team where they didn't want to win. You know, now, you know, I was on this Venom team. You can't get anywhere near come with a guy that's more dedicated to sponsoring his team and doing what he needs to do to win. You know, when you go to a tournament, Johnny Jones can't come. I got to get Leroy Radcliffe or whatever name you want to put on. You got to get somebody to replace that Johnny James of studs, right? And the older you get, the more that becomes complex.
You're exactly right. And I remember when I started coaching, because I couldn't move. I kept having surgeries for 3 years, and I was watching guys play, and it was killing me. And two things I changed. We did batting averages, because I had a website I was putting out a lot of stats on, and I took the batting averages off and went to OBP. And it was amazing.
What's OBP?
On base percentage.
Oh, that's all you got.
Why did you do that? Why? What was the reason?
For one reason only. Guys with 3 doesn't want to walk. Guys with 3-0 and 3-1.
Exactly.
They hit a foul just like another swing,
and
then they make an out, and their batting average up. So I said, okay, we're gonna do OBP. And guys, well, what are you talking about? I said, every time you walk, it's a base hit in the book. I don't put walk, I put single. And guys would take a walk, and they would scream back at the guys in the book, that's a walk. I mean, that's a hit, that's a hit. And guys on base percentage went through the roof. Smart. And guess what else happened? We started winning more.
Yeah, of course.
Because the pitchers
reward what you want to achieve.
If you get a Purcell or somebody pitching, and you're going to swing at pitches that are way outside the strike zone, they're going to keep giving them to you.
That's right.
But if you only swing at a strike, they're either going to walk you or going to throw you strikes. You start swinging at good pitches, so it changed. And I told everybody in my team, whoever we picked up, I love you all. I picked you guys all up because you're great players, but also you're cohesive, you're good guys. I'll never sit you. We had 15 guys. And they go, you won't? I said, nope, you'll sit yourself. You don't hit. That's on you. That's not on me. It's up to you to play during the week, wherever you live. It's up to you to do all the things you need to do. And if you're hurt, you're hurt. When you come here, it's one thing. Everybody's here to win. We're not playing buddy ball. So if you don't play well, you set yourself. I'm going to tell the coach to put it in there. And you're not starting this game. I'm going to tell you in advance, but you set yourself, not me.
Yes, that's the attitude you got to have. And that, the on base thing. That was. I remember my transition from coming all the way up. We went through that early on. A lot of guys didn't like that baseball mentality. Oh, that ain't a hit.
The old school's hate guys hated that.
Yeah, you can't judge. Well, that wasn't really an error. That guy's just a clown. Well, you can't separate that. You'll go and you're worrying about the wrong thing. If you're on base, you're on base. And it's like today's world. You know, they don't want to put people that break the law in jail. Now you come from. What sense does that make to you?
None.
And you're going to get exactly what you don't want.
You're exactly right.
You know.
You're exactly right. And listen, and back on errors, our philosophy was you see a second baseman that can't move, all of a sudden you're hurt, and he can't move, and you start hitting either side of him because you know every time he hits it, he can't move, he's gonna drop it and kick it. Some guys on that team are yelling that's an error because they like, how is that an error? It's a hit. He got on base. It's on base percentage. He's smart enough to know he's going to pick on somebody that can't field. And if the guy catches it and throws it in the ocean because you're hustling on the right, they go, oh, that's an error. It's not. It's on base percentage. Get on base.
What's the ultimate of the game? The ultimate of the game is not for everybody to look at their batting average and say, hey, dude, I led the team. Did you win? No, we didn't win, but I led the team. That's not what you want.
Exactly right. You know? And it changed us. And it changed us as players. And everybody then we started winning. And it made everybody fun, and it was just joyful to be around the guys. And it's funny, all those guys, like the Ruleys and Purcell, they hated losing. And I always had that mentality, that Red Sox Yankees mentality. I hated to lose more than I loved to win. And there's a difference. and I hated to lose. And that's why I was out hitting 5-6 days a week. I was in the gym 6 days a week. I just couldn't stand to lose. If we won, I always felt like we were supposed to win.
Yeah.
We lost, and I never took losing well. I always hated it.
Yeah.
And those guys had that mentality. And Andy, I said, you're going to have a hard time with his seniors. And first night we were playing the stadium, somebody hits a ball, and I won't say his real name, but he ran back to the fence and landed 70 feet around of him. And Andy started throwing this ball he thought was not in it. I go, Andy's going to be a little different here in senior ball. And Roll did the same thing. They just want you to try hard and play well. And
Yeah, Purcell's a big name.
just a knuckleball that jumps all over the place. That's when we won the Smokies because of him. His knuckleballs all over the joint. He just hard to hit.
Do you ever know Ricky Huggins?
I know of Ricky Huggins, don't know him personally.
That guy, great player. I remember what reminds me of him is what you're talking about pitching. We had to be beaten twice up in Daytona in I think it was a 35 or 40 and over world, and we were hitting the shit out of it. We were playing the Sod team, Mace Sod from another top team, and they put Ricky in, and all of a sudden nobody could hit his ass because he's doing it. We're playing USSSA, and he's doing, man, the pitchers makes a big difference.
When we were younger, do you have a pitcher that you thought was the best you've ever faced? Pitcher, just as a pitcher, because I do.
I think in USSSA it might have been Ricky Huggins, but who's
mine was Birdie. Played a team called Hague out of Ohio. Lefty. He used to jump off the mound in front of it, and he used to throw a curveball, and the ball would come over this far over the plate, and they give him a strike.
Wow.
And you had to use a call.
Were you playing when they could do all this shit like throw fire?
That's all they did. They threw 100 miles an hour, jump.
Well, I meant
legs,
real fire.
Everything. I hated it because in Massachusetts we always did that 10 to 12 to 13 foot arc. We came down to Florida. You guys weren't used to that. The high arc. If you do it in our eyes or overhead, we killed it because that's all we pitched. Yeah. We came down here, they were throwing out our ankles, and I'm like, that's illegal. What are you guys doing? They go, oh, that's fine. And we had to. It was an adjustment period for us.
Yeah, I had the opposite when I went because we played USSSA around here 90% of the time. When senior ball came in, they had the height. I had to adjust. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
We're almost at the hour mark here. One thing I wanted to ask you is, being such a key part of the softball community, what would you say are the top 3 things for those who don't know what it's like to be with a group of people like that? What would you say?
It brings us back to when we were younger and all the things you learn, the camaraderie, playing and being as a unit and cohesive, and it's just fun. And a lot of guys, when you get to a certain age, especially if you have injuries, you think you're done. And I mentioned the guy, Carlos Wade. There's guys that just in the home here in Florida, they're retired, they can't do anything because you're hurt. Well, we do home run derby now. You don't have to run. There's no red fast twitch muscle going in, you're going to pull anything. So we can hit, you can go out and have fun. We go get breakfast later on, and we're doing that like we face you guys. And we want to start doing that, and it gets you out moving again. As all doctors tell you, motion is lotion. You gotta move.
Let me talk about Carlos Wade for a minute. Did you know him when he played, young guy?
Alan Tanner introduced it to him about 6-7 years ago when we used to take BP, and he killed it. They said he was a shortstop. He was. I didn't know him at that time.
6 or 7 years ago, he was still he was blown up by that time.
Yeah.
He had some medical issues. I didn't even recognize him after I seen him because I played against him as a young man. He actually played with me a couple of times, but he was truly a freaking stud. I mean, he was built. He had this strange body with big old shoulders out here. Now they're filled in, but yeah, he was a stud, dude. I mean, he played well.
I've heard that from everybody.
Yeah.
And he killed it. He was a cutter.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he now needs knee replacements, and his bad thing is ankle too. One of his ankles is terrible.
Well, his foot's in bad shape.
He needs foot's probably the worst of all of them in both knees.
But man, up until last year, he's still killing it, dude. Still he's probably the best home run hitter in this county. At least a year ago.
And he still gets guys out there like Richie. I wouldn't have known Richie. Richie, the
Richie's
younger kid, the 42, Adam Rockoff, who hits the ball so far.
Yeah, I've never seen that guy before.
It is unbelievable how far that guy hits a ball.
I know it's crazy for his age, right? But he's 42, dude.
And he's not a big guy either.
Well,
I don't want to say he's small, but he's
small compared to you.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But listen, he murders. And listen, and it's funny. Like one of my guys, and I'm like, well, yeah, he's young, 42. I go, he's still hitting it 480.
Yeah.
I go, he's still hitting it that far. Like all the guys that we, Jimmy Waters, all those guys, we just now look forward to hitting it. Like, we ask, hey, have you talked to Ed? We want to come out and hit you guys. When we doing it, we're all talking about it.
Cool.
And these are all the things now, guys are now just saying, hey, where are their leagues? Where else can we get? It gets guys out to be together again.
Yeah.
And to be, have fun. And it's just a great thing for guys to do. It really is. You get so much joy out of playing softball, either with a team atmosphere or just going out and having fun hitting together.
And I don't know, my experience has been the people are so genuine, especially in this area. I mean, I've yet to meet a bad guy. Everybody's like open and encouraging, and this is like the softball paradise, isn't it?
Well, that's certainly good to hear. He's never met a bad guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
But listen, let's
Except for you, Ed Rose.
Damn, I take that back, folks. What do you consider? I got a question written down. What do you consider to be your greatest legacy or contribution to the sport? Now, do you have something that you would say is your,
It's funny, I got asked that question when I got into the New England Hall of Fame.
How many Hall of Fames you in, by the way?
Just that one, the U-Trip, not the regular one.
U-Trip, let's say.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
with New England.
Yeah.
So I got into that one. They asked me the same thing. And it's just getting guys together, like playing together and winning. But then now when I was running teams, it's getting good guys together. And my mentality was this: where's everybody going? Like the Huntsman. People want to go to the Huntsman because it's gorgeous there. I've never been.
Yeah.
I go, my first question: who's playing? They go, what do you mean?
Nobody.
I go, then we're not going. I don't want to play Helen Keller School of Law. Let's go play the best talent wherever it is. We wanted to go out west, and you started talking, name some guys out there. They had some teams out in California we wanted to play against because a lot of guys didn't want to come out to the east.
That's where you got to go to be a world champion. You can't just do it from the East Coast because, pretty much the East Coast is dominated by Florida. And then,
Completely.
when I was growing up, so to speak, in senior ball, it was either Florida or Virginia, where Clatterball was at. You know Don Clatterball?
No.
Don Clatterball's, to me, one of the best players ever to play the game in the context of longevity, because he was great when he was young. He was great in the 40s, and then he was great in the seniors. I mean, he was considered by most players as the best consistent hitter. You can't,
Interesting.
if we talk here right now about the guys that are the great hitters, you wouldn't get a lot of agreement of who's who, But when you talk to the seniors and like we have the Legends Hall of Fame that some of you guys, Richie's going into that this year, and
Okay.
Allen's going into this year.
Oh,
But that's
awesome.
the best seniors in the country, and you can get them to. Now you probably can't get Allen and Paul Stanley to agree because now you got new blood coming in.
Right.
But Clatterball's 15, 16 years older than him.
Yeah.
But he was considered, and I'll give you an example. He was 102 for 104, I think it was. 102 for 104.
That's almost impossible.
Well, that's what we said, but it's true.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how
Is he
good.
Small guy, big guy?
No, dude, he's 6'2" at about 240.
Oh yeah.
Power hitter, and look, he was like Brett Helmer. Okay, he was fast when he was young. He played the
Interesting.
outfield,
Yeah.
but he could. I remember the first time I seen him. I was playing 40 and over. He was playing at Howard Furniture, and he did.
Howard's was good.
Yeah, and he hit one. He hit a couple to right field like bullets, and when he came up this, I would talk to Dwayne. It's funny how I remember this. I talked to Dwayne. I said, Dwayne, who the hell is that guy hitting them rocket ships to right field? That's Don Clatterball. Well, guess what? When we turned 50, I recruited Don to our team. We had the best 50 and over team in Jump Street. When I turned 50, our team didn't lose a tournament to the end of the year. But that's a whole nother story. But this point was that Don Clatterball
In Virginia.
was definitely considered one of. But now you look at when we'd have this Legends dinner, everybody say, yeah, he's the greatest hitter. Look, man, every one of these damn guys in there a great hitter. It wouldn't be here.
Oh, they would be there.
Yeah, and you don't get anywhere unless you're with the best. My whole philosophy, and then probably yours too, when you're recruiting a team, is get guys better than me. You want to win. I want to win.
You want the best.
Yeah.
And Florida has an unfair advantage. I remember we were playing the rules. You could pick Florida that touches Georgia or whatever. And we were in Massachusetts. I'm like, who are we getting? And I remember Allen and OB, Bobby O'Brien, and they get everybody's in Florida. Like they didn't have to go that far. And I had to get Paul Stanley, and he was outside my area. Oh, it was crazy. So we had to change it to Pennsylvania just to pick certain guys. It was just an unfair advantage for the Florida guys.
Yeah.
So we just did what we had to do. We just spent money, and we just had to get whoever we had to get.
Yeah.
But it was amazing playing senior ball. Actually, still to this day, love it. And look, the friendships they have. Like I said, I'm going this weekend, and maybe they be some of the senior guys, some of the guys. Magnum might be there. Whether he's Bradley's going to be there, I don't know. Jones, but Halsey will be there, and we're going to swing a new bat, which I've never heard of.
What bat is it?
California bat.
Proton.
They call it the California
Oh,
bat.
California.
They're out of California. They're flying in with their bat. I know Dennis Schrump's
Where's
coming
that going to
in.
be?
JBI.
Where's that at?
At Sims Park on Sunday in Gastonia, and there's a
North Carolina.
North Carolina, and there's a few stadium. I think it's a $32 million stadium they built 4 or 5 years back, and Jeff Hall got that stadium for us to hit on Saturday.
When is this?
This weekend, we're flying in. Myself and Johnny Dykes are flying in Saturday morning.
Oh, you going with Johnny Dykes? Tell him I said hi.
I will. He's bringing their bat.
Probably won't remember me.
Oh, he already knows you. I was trying to see if Ricky Sills was going to come,
Ricky Sills.
and I told Halsey about you. He goes, tell that I do a podcast with him.
Oh,
No,
cool.
he said, tell that I absolutely will do it with him.
Yeah, that's
And I said,
awesome.
Jeff, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
we'll do that for sure.
and it's crazy because younger guys go up and hit against Jeff, and he likes it in the baseball stadium.
You know what I like about Jeff Hall? He was doing something with Bogey, my buddy, and Bogey and I don't agree on everything. And he pissed me off when he said I was leaving power on the table early. Not really, but he analyzed my swing. But Halsey was with him one time, and Brett was trying to tell him to use his lingo, and trying to give her. He just said, "Yeah, I know, really, Bogey. All I do is hit it hard, man. I just hit it hard."
He's got that strong North Carolina
Oh
draw.
yeah, man.
And just an absolute perfect guy. I don't care where you are, who you are, he's talking to you. He's going to say hello to you. He's just a great human being.
Yeah, we're gonna have Greg Helmer. Folks, look out for Greg Helmer. What is it? April 8th through the 12th. He's going to be in town. We hope to get him here. And you need to ask Halsey when is he going to be in town here.
I already know when he's coming to town.
When is it?
We're meeting him April 11th. His son just got picked up for Juno. He's going to play in the duel in Vieira, which right down.
April 11th?
April 11th, just flying in Thursday.
Man, we can have Helmer and Halsey in here in the same way. Talk to him and
let's
I
make
don't
that
know.
happen, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
He already
talk.
said he'd do it. I said, I'm going on this podcast today. He called me this morning and he said, he calls everybody cuz. He goes, all right, cuz, tell him I'll do a podcast with him. I've been down there. So he definitely will do it.
Yeah, well, that's great. He's in town. Tell him we need to get it, and Dano will be in touch with him.
Yeah.
For that whole weekend, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for his son to play down in the Vieira, the duel.
Yeah, that's where Brett's going to be.
Brett's going to be down there.
Yeah. You know what I did in the last video I put out? When I was talking, my brain didn't connect, and I said Greg Helmer.
Yeah, you just
did it again.
You just
Oh, did I do that again?
Yeah. We knew you
Did I
meant
say
Brett.
Brett?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We knew you meant Brett.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't blame Biden so much for him being an idiot. I mean, it's just the fact I'm 78 years old, and I said Greg.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be damned, man. Sorry.
I just want to correct it.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
but we knew that you meant
So
it.
how are we going to end this? I mean, I tried to end it there, but I like to talk to this guy so much that we get into other
Well,
stuff.
normally one of the last questions we ask is, I mean, especially if this would be a good answer for you. You've been successful in life. You've been successful in your career, and definitely in softball. If you're gonna leave, 3 keys to success to the audience, what would you say?
Well, the first one was probably from what my father taught us, hard work. It was nobody's giving you anything. And it's hard work. Accountability. And a lot of that falls into probably the third one is your word. Like, be
Oh,
honest.
that's the big one there, buddy.
If you give your word, stand
Yeah.
by it. Whether it's right or
Yeah.
wrong, you stand by it.
Yeah.
Part of the accountability, he said, because that's who you are. You and he would always tell us this: you have one thing in life, whether it was a law enforcement, military, or attorney. Your reputation. You only have one of them. Be
Yeah,
true and honest.
It's great you've been here, buddy. We may have you back one day.
Mark Thomas,
And-
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Getting there, folks. Hit subscribe. Need to get to 2,000.